Hello, Claus Popp Larsen.
Hello, Petra.
You are Head of Innovation Area, the Sustainable Connected Society at Rise ICT, former Swedish ICT.
Yes.
You are also Rise ICT's representative in Urban ICT Arena Steering Committee. Welcome, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I would like you to tell us shortly a bit how you ended up here in Kista and in Rise. Please tell us a bit of your journey.
Yes. Well, it's a long story.
Yeah.
It started almost 50 years ago when I was born in a small town in Denmark.
You see.
And then I decided to become engineer and studied at Technical University of Denmark and in South Clyde in Glasgow. And when I was done, there was no job for me. So I went to my old supervisor who had a friend at Ericsson in Kista in one of the research labs. And so they set me up with a PhD project there. So that was actually my first job here in Kista, like more than 20 years ago. Kista was completely different by then. And then after Ericsson, I worked different places there. I went to a startup company just before the IT bubble burst in the beginning of the millennium. And when it burst, I came to Abera, which later became Swedish ICT and is now a division within Rise. So, and for all I've done, it has been like the common denominators. I've tried to, I've not been, even though I'm a technician, I'm not that interested in the technology. I'm more interested in how to apply the technology. So it has been like the red thread throughout my career.
So, as we said earlier, Rise ICT, former corporate name was Swedish ICT.
Yes.
And as I know, at the end of last year, you guys changed your name to Rise.
Well, we got included. Swedish ICT was one research institute together with SP and Inventia. So together they form Rise now, and Swedish ICT has remained as a division within Rise, so Rise ICT.
But tell us more about the potential that how that carries on.
Well, yeah. At Swedish ICT we were I think around 400 people, and now in Rise together we are 2,200 people, with a turnover of 2.5 billion kroner. So we have more muscles now. People listen more to us, and also we are much broader. We have a much broader spectrum than before. So, for example, if you look at the you could say smart city application or city application, we were involved with the ICT components of it, but now we also have like how to build buildings, building materials, how to handle infrastructures like drinking water and the sewage network and so on. And they could all benefit very much from ICT solutions. So.
Rise is one of the founding partners in Urban ICT Arena, and you're in the steering committee.
Yes.
Please tell us a bit about what Rise want to do in the testbed and why you're with us. Why did you join up?
Well, it's so we are part of it from the beginning because we're a founding partner because we're part of the Electrum Foundation, and we see Urban ICT Arena as a key component really in our work within our business areas, sustainably connected societies. And for example, you have a lot of the key players gathered here. We have the testbed, so we can use this as our testbed, and that is what we're going to do. So we want to populate it with many projects and activities here. So we see it as this is our home turf, and we want to exploit it as much as possible.
And I also happen to know that you're running one of the projects and also contributes with an IT infrastructure.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
That is correct, Petra.
Yes.
So we have set up a LoRa system, and it's a narrowband IoT system, and it's one of several competing technologies. We have chosen this one because it's easy to use, it's pretty cheap, and we have done it because we want to get hands-on experience on how to use these kinds of network that will grow in the future in the cities and beyond the cities as well. And we will also make this network accessible for other stakeholders. So if someone wants to couple up a sensor in a simple way, it's easy to do. And at the moment we have an antenna at Jan Stenbæk's Torg, and I can almost see it from here. It's like 200 meters from here.
It's just outside the hub.
Yes. So I just brought a sensor here.
Oh.
And this sensor is it's for indoor usage, and it measures CO2 concentration and temperature and some other parameters. So I get it through the LoRa system down in the fiber infrastructure from Stokup into Urban ICT Arena, and then up to our IoT testbed in Hudiksvall, from which I can access it with a dashboard. So I can see the different values on this one now. So we have a CO2 concentration of 456 parts per million.
Is that good?
This is very good. It's excellent air conditioning here, so we can continue thinking clearly.
Great. We don't have to be afraid of fainting or something.
Not yet.
Oh, okay, great.
But Claus, if you could make a wish, what kind of projects would you like to invite to the testbed?
Okay, so if it's really all projects that has some connection to this societal change that we're all going through, and maybe with extra focus on the city. So it's both technology, it's platforms, it's sensors, it's how to assure citizen involvement. It's how organizations will change when all this happens. And something that I'm especially interested in is to look at some kind of common framework for the smart cities all over Sweden. So I think it could be great if we could kind of design or make these guidelines together with other stakeholders, all that are interested and all that are relevant. I mean both cities and system vendors, and then make a blueprint here in Kista, which we can then export out to the rest of the country. So it will be much simpler for all other cities that are looking into these issues to come to us, and we'll do it together with them. Because all what's happening now within digitalization and smart building, smart homes, smart everything, we have to do it together. We're on the beginning of a long journey, and we have to do this together. No one can do it by itself. No city can do it by itself. We need to do it together. So we need to, for example, if you develop some kind of service in Stockholm on one platform, it should be easy just to move it to Gothenburg on another platform, or to Kiruna on a third platform. So it should be this seamless movement of services. This is the goal, and we have to aim for that.
I happen to know that you are saying that IoT still is not happening.
Yes.
What is needed for IoT to happen?
Yeah, okay. It's there's a lot of work going on within IoT technologies, but for me, IoT is when you can start sharing data for real, when data is not locked up in one system, for example, within one city or within one vendor. So we need these mechanisms to share data to more stakeholders. And those mechanisms, they are not really there yet. And it's not because of technology, because technology can fix it. It's more about old business model, legacy systems, mindsets of people, and so on. So, but especially the cities, they talk a lot about open data. When they do that, it's often not real-time data. But the step after will be real-time data. And maybe not everything has to be open, but it should be possible to access for anyone. So when this comes in place, I'm happy. Then we have IoT. So IoT is something where you have multiple stakeholders that collaborate and share data and share infrastructure.
So what could be the possible outcome at best when this happens?
Well, if we look at the cities, then it's that, for example, that the vast majority of cities in Sweden, they agree on using a common framework that will enable this sharing of data. So, and you can compare it with a smartphone, for example. I will bring up my own smartphone here, and a smartphone, you can share everything. This is what we need in the city today. Today we have the old telephones, many old telephones. We want one smartphone instead.
It's a good comparison.
No.
Any more questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Claus.
Thank you so
Coming
much
here.
for coming.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
lovely to have you.
Oh,
Thank
it
you.
was lovely to be here.